Hi, I'm actor Ian Champion, and welcome to History of Horror Cinema, my personal podcast tour of the good, bad, and the ugly of horror movie history. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to hit subscribe. The Gorilla, 1939. Whilst Universal was gearing up to unleash its second wave of horror icons on the public, 1939 saw the genre overhauled by adding more overt comedy to add extra zing to the potion. Toward the end of the year, ex-vaudevillian turned Broadway star Bob Hope would provide the laughs in The Cat and the Canary, the winning remake of the 1927 original. And into the 1940s, Universal would combine its Horror Hall of Fame figures with ex-burlesque double act Abbott and Costello in a successful series. But in May 1939, another stage team would feverishly mine chuckles with chills in 20th Century Fox's The Gorilla. This familiar mansion murder mystery plot was based on a play by Ralph Spence that had already been filmed in 1925 and 1930, and was remade again as a vehicle for the Ritz Brothers, a real-life sibling act whose energy compensated for what they lacked in subtlety. The Ritz Brothers hailed from New Jersey, first begun by vaudeville dancer Al, before younger brothers Harry and Jimmy joined the act. They gradually introduced more comedy into their shows, till this became their main selling point. Despite being real brothers, their true surname was Joachim, and allegedly Al chose the Ritz surname after seeing the logo on a laundry truck. They were inevitably compared to the superior Marx Brothers, but without the consistent distinctive characters of Groucho, Harpo, and Chico, it was hard to tell the trio apart, except that Harry was generally the ringleader of the troupe. Another comparable team of the period whom we shall meet was the Three Stooges. Indeed, they shared the bullying chaos, mugging, and cowardly woo-woo squeaks of the other three-ring circus. The Gorilla was the Ritz Brothers' 8th movie feature, following a stage tour, and the final one of their contract with Fox. This was caused by a dispute between the studio and the brothers over the delay to the filming schedule. They were meant to begin shooting at the end of January of 1939. However, their father died, so they did not come into work. The studio sued the team for $150,000, citing a breach of contract for missing their start date. The brothers finally showed up to begin shooting in March, and never worked for Fox again. The screenplay, such as you can wade through whilst being hit with shtick bamboo, is based around the perceived crooked dealings of Lionel Atwill's Walter Stevens, a wealthy businessman who stands to be co-inheritor of the family estate along with his ward Norma, Anita Louise. Crippled with debt and about to be targeted by a professional murderer known as the Gorilla, he appears to be tempted into bumping her off to be sole beneficiary. On the obligatory rain-lashed stormy night, he has hired 3 private detectives, the Ritz Brothers, to uncover the murderer in time to save him, while a real, as in human-in-a-suit gorilla, has escaped onto the premises. Although the horror movie form was developing, somehow producers still couldn't let go of the early 1930s man-in-a-monkey suit trope. Other occupants of the house, or more fittingly, onlookers, as we shall see, include Bela Lugosi as the butler, Patsy Kelly as Kitty the maid, and Edward Norris as the other half of the requisite make-weight romantic couple with Louise. The defective detectives, Garrity, Harrigan, and Mulligan, turn up and immediately swing into inaction. Their combined 3 watts of lily-livered brainpower make the Stooges sound like the Algonquin set, manifesting as witless interrogation, expertly inept role-playing, and internecine "why I order" fraternal squabbling. To be fair, their quick-fire repartee forged on the tough theatre circuit is fast and furious enough that if you don't like one gag, there'll be another you can ignore coming right up. Just kidding. They do have at least a couple of moments that earn a grin. The planned synchronization scene, where one mutters, "Remind me to put some hands on this watch," and a great sustained series of eye-popping facial mugs by Harry worthy of Jim Carrey when seeing the hairy gorilla for the first time. His reaction, along with the occasional hairy, disembodied arm, is really the only concession to fear in the film. Such is the Ritz trio's high-voltage prowling and barked one-liners that the rest of the cast are allowed to relax in the background without taking collateral damage. Bela Lugosi serenely surfs the waves with Hungarian cool in an utterly wasted role bereft of any edge or purpose. Lionel Atwill provides exposition at the beginning and end and is basically along for the ride, sandwiched between his more dignified releases of The Hound of the Baskervilles and Son of Frankenstein before his career-ruining court case, which we will cover in a later episode. Only Patsy Kelly seeks to match the crackers' style of the Ritzes, with her own dialogue delivered as gratingly loud, ba-dum-tish banter with them, as though the foursome are in a fast-paced Broadway show of their own within the movie. During a long career, the actress dubbed Queen of the Wisecracks would later make a stellar comeback, winning a Broadway Tony in 1971 for the musical No No Nanette. The gorilla is finally caged within a hurried climax where Joseph Kalea's darkly mysterious stranger, career typecasting for him before playing Peter Menzies in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, is unmasked as the murderer version of the gorilla. By this point, the audience has somewhat tuned out, now that their sporadic amusement and understanding has been monkeyed with enough. Both better and worse comedy-horror hybrids were to come over the next few years, lightening the public's spirits as the skies darkened with warplanes. Their success would be determined by the quality of gags, energetic playing, and where possible, one or two genuine frisons. There would be plenty of material in real life to inspire fear. The Ritz Brothers weren't the only comedy trio mixing humor and horror on screen at that time. Over at Columbia, the Three Stooges were beginning a career that would be far more successful and longer-lasting. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to hit subscribe.